Hello and welcome to episode 178 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right. A couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers, talking about Magic the Gathering, in particular, the online client MTG Arena, usually.
But
But
this week, we are talking about the story. We are doing Drunken Vorthos Aetherdrift. So we have a new set that's coming out, and today's all about the story. We're not talking about cards. We're just going into the lore of what Magic is, while we still can. But
yeah.
first, each week we bring a beer, we drink it, we rate it on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. So with that, Jeff, what's on tap this week?
Brought a Czech lager.
Sick.
Yeah, you can see it says Hamilton at the top there. This is
Hmm.
a local brewery, Clifford. It's one of the bigger ones that won Brewery of the Year a few years ago. They make solid
Oh.
stuff, and they have a nice big location where they host events and stuff. And they have a ton of different beers on tap, and it's a cool spot. And I hadn't really tried it that much till having lived here for a little bit, because they
Hmm.
have some standard stuff that I used to see in the LCBO in Toronto. And I just kind of assumed it was whatever because it was just their lager. You know, um, I didn't realize just the selection they have and that it's actually quite good.
Hmm.
Friend of mine who's a brewer here, Ryan, sort of turned me on to it. We went out to a show once and he was like, "Oh, if they have anything by Clifford, we'll just get that." And so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty high endorsement of this place." And so I
Yeah,
started
it
kind of
is.
taking them more seriously after that. And I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, okay, all right, they got some stuff." And so I picked up a bunch, just everything they had. Uh, Most of it I have not tried. Some of it I have, but this one I have not tried. So this is a
All right.
Czech lager, and I figured we normally do sort of easy drinking beers during the Drunken Vorthos, so Czech lager seems perfect.
Yeah, exactly. If you've listened to our other Drunken Vorthos episodes, we know we have usually done a silver series. However, we are finished the silver series and we're moving on and just decided easy drinking beers for talking about the story is perfect.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I haven't actually had anything from Clifford. I'm pretty sure. So this will be exciting to try out. All right, let's crack these open. All right. With that, we have some magic news. Um, Next weekend, the 24th to the 26th of January, there's a Duskmorn Arena Direct event. So they've been doing more of these. They did a Bloomborough one like during the holidays, and now they're doing the Duskmorn one. And this is your chance to play some sealed and win a box or two. Sorry, you win two boxes of play boosters of Duskmorn, which is pretty exciting. Um, Fun competitive event, definitely worth checking out this weekend.
So are these
Sorry,
ones
next
fully
weekend.
asynchronous? Are these ones fully asynchronous, or is it like the Arena Open?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Um, can I log in after my kids go to bed and play
Yes, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah,
my
yeah.
matches, or do I need to be in specific windows and there at specific times, like in the
No, this
Arena
is a
Open?
lot easier than the Arena Open. This is like a sealed event, essentially. You
Cool.
get like, I think it's six wins before two losses.
Mhm.
And yeah, you just gotta spike it, win your money, and then or win your money, win your cards, and
That
then
gets
you
you two
can
boxes, just going six
two
before two.
boxes. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure that's the breakdown, yeah. And it's it's pricey to jump in, but people often go multiple times because you can enter as many
right.
times as you like
Yeah. Neat.
and win as many boxes as
Gonna
you
add that to
can.
the stack of Chaos Draft packs.
Yeah, exactly. Just boxes of Duskborn. Uh, if you didn't know, Jeff is one of those people who doesn't open their packs whenever they have prize packs from any event ever, and he
Yeah.
just has a stack of packs for I don't know for something at some point. Uh,
I say it's my Chaos Draft packs, but when is
you
that
don't
ever gonna
chaos draft,
happen?
yeah, you don't chaos
Yeah.
draft.
One day it'll come and someone's really gonna be like, I wish we had packs from the past decade, like,
Yeah,
a few from each, just, for this perfect Chaos Draft. And be like, well, Boy, are you glad you said that around me.
Mhm.
Come to my
Yeah,
basement and go into my cold storage. Promise I'm not
yeah.
trying to murder you.
He
Uh,
still has
go-
packs from like when we would draft every week on Wednesdays from like I don't know, like before War of the
uh,
Spark, like
Guilds of
Ixalan
Ravnica. I
even.
have some Guilds of
Guilds.
Ravnica.
You have Gids of Ravnica for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know many people that do that, but Jeff definitely does. Also, the weekend that's the Duskmorn Arena event is happening, which is not this weekend, but the following one is the qualifier weekend for Explorer. So they kind of run those
Oh,
concurrently. I think they try to do that where it's like, hey, if you want to play some competitive Magic, but you're not in the qualifier, you can play the Arena Direct. Or if you scrub out of the qualifier, you can just jump into the Arena Direct. So that's kind of nice how they do that. I enjoy that. But
cool.
yeah. Anyway, Jeff, let's get into this. We are talking story, all right? All about the
Oh,
Magic story. And this is Aetherdrift. So Aetherdrift is a set that's coming out at the beginning of February, but we got the story a little early, and we're doing something a little bit different this time. We have decided to break up the Drunken Vorthos into two parts. Now, normally we have one marathon episode that's like 3 to 4 hours long, and we talk about every single chapter. We've decided to break it up a little bit, do the first 3 chapters this week, and then we will be following that with the next 3 chapters next week. Um, yeah, just in an effort to not have giant episodes. Anyway,
a little
all right.
behind the scenes on that. Every time we think we can do it in 2 hours or less,
hmm
and then we can't because we have more to
Say we
gripe about than we think.
always have more
And
to
so
say.
we're just giving up on that dream that we can get through
Yes.
all of them in a reasonable episode length.
And so now the new dream is to make sure that the shorter episodes don't end up getting bigger than they're
That, Zach, I
supposed to.
told you now. I'm like, oh, I have so much time because it's only 3 chapters.
I know, I know.
Really
Jeff's
gonna draw this out.
before the episode, Jeff's like, "Yeah, nothing happened. There's so many. Like, what are we gonna? It's gonna be take 20 minutes." I'm like, Jeff, don't say that. It's gonna take forever if you do that. In classic Jeff fashion, trying to get me off topic as much as possible so we can't finish the
I'm already
freaking
doing pretty
episode.
well.
I know it's whatever. All right, here we go. So before we get into this, this is a quick spoiler alert. If you want to know things about the current story arc for Magic the Gathering Dragonstorm, you might want to go back and listen to some of our other Drunken Vorthos episodes because we will be spoiling things about those, and we will just say everything we know about Magic story as we go through this. So,
Yeah. And it
just a
does actually
quick.
come up in these first three. So
It does. So, if you want to keep things about Duskmorn or Bloomborough, kind of, keep your earmuffs on, go back, listen to those episodes first, and then come over here, and then you can listen to these, and everything will make sense. Even all the way
well,
back. Yeah, will it make sense? Yeah, we'll find out.
we'll get into that,
Um,
but
okay, let's go. We are starting with Drunken Vorthos, episodes 1 through 3 of Aetherdrift, written by K. Arsenault Rivera. All right, so a little introduction on Aetherdrift. So, some of the backstory is that we know through the Planeswalker's Guide and everything that there is a race that is happening. We kind of already just knew that from spoilers from just the set being talked about. There is a Grand Prix, the Girapur Grand Prix, going through 3 different planes. This has now started because the Omen paths have opened up and given them access to each other. Because before, the regular Joe Schmo, who's not a planeswalker, couldn't go to these planes. Now anyone can go any fucking place they want to go. It's a paradise. Everyone's on vacation. But the 3 planes we were going to are Avishkar, Amonkhet, and Muraganda. Now, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but Avishkar is the new name for Kaladesh. After the Phyrexian invasion happened and all that stuff, and post Aether Revolt, all those things, basically Kaladesh's government got overthrown. The consulate was disbanded, and they created a new government through like there's like 11 different parts of the plane, and they have a leader from each place, and it's very democratic and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bloodless revolution, is what they're calling it. And because of the huge change through that, those people have decided they needed to rename the plane Avishkar. And so that is the new name for it. And it's a large political movement that just happened, and it's still fresh in the people's minds
Yeah.
as we get into that. Obviously, Amonkhet we know, and then we'll get to Muruganda. Doesn't matter. Yeah, sweet. Okay, let us start with episode number 1, The Dashing and the Desperate. So we start off with Ishikari, who's this inventor who they're kind of like just immediately telling us that they're really interested in things that all of Avishkar's like I don't know inventors and leaders and I guess teachers aren't interested in helping them. I say Avishkar, but it was Kaladesh at the time when this was happening, and because we're kind of in the past. And Ishikari really wants to like turn into a planeswalker, I guess.
Yeah. So Ishikar is kind of like the mad scientist of Kaladesh, which is already a bit of a mad scientist plane.
Place, yeah.
So when you have all of the people on Kaladesh being like, you're a little too crazy, that should signal something. And also, I think she tried to get Rashmi to sponsor her.
Yeah,
And even Rashmi said no, and Rashmi like created or helped create the planar bridge, right?
yeah.
So Rashmi understands traveling using their technology to travel in the blind eternities.
Hmm.
Um, and so basically Ishikari to me came across as like she's fanatical about planeswalkering and is
Places,
trying
yeah.
to create that with their Aether technology.
Yeah. If you don't know, the planar bridge is, like you said, Rashmi's one of Rashmi's inventions that was used during War of the Spark. It was stolen, and what's his face? Tezzeret had it in his body or something, and he basically used it to take all the zombies from Amonkhet and bring them to Ravnica.
Mhm.
Because before that, you couldn't travel the Blind Eternities unless you're a planeswalker.
Now they just all walk through the Omen path. Easy
Yeah, now
peasy.
it's so like oh, planar
March him
bridge.
on through, Nicol Bola.
So
He'll come
lame.
back, be
Yeah.
like, "Wow, it's so easy."
This is so much easier. Why did I have to do so much fucking work to do this? Anyway, Ishikari ends up creating the Aether Spark through this. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's exactly said that that's what it is, but
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
yeah. But she does create the Aether Spark, which we, as of this moment, don't know a ton about, besides it is like an external mechanical Planeswalker Spark that has a Planeswalker card in the new set. We just don't know what the card does yet.
And it seemed like she sacrificed herself. Like she the Phyrexians were invading and she like
Hmm.
runs up to her machine and was like, it's supposed to be some mage that powers this, but I
Hmm.
guess it'll have to be me. And then she hits it, and it seems like it zaps her and like takes her essence, and that's
And
what
turns her
powers
into them.
it. Like, I don't know if she had a Planeswalker Spark, or she is the Planeswalker Spark now, or like it has something to do with traveling the blind eternities. It's some sort of contraption. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that she's like in there.
Yeah, either she's inside the Aether Spark or it zapped her in the Blind Eternities and she's away somewhere and it
Right.
worked, but she's not with us now. So maybe we'll see her
Oh, yeah,
again in
yeah.
another.
Could be that
This is,
too.
but this is what I'm talking about where I'm not fully, I don't exactly know what happens because there's a lot of things happening and I can't really parse whether she went in or went out. I mean, she just went to the blind eternities, whether that means that the Aether Spark gave her those abilities or she She just kind of like it ceases to be on Avishkar now. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think in this case, it's intentionally kept a little unclear what
Yes,
exactly
that
happened.
it's true. It's true. We don't exactly know. We're gonna fast forward 2 years. So we were in Kaladesh during the invasion. Now we're in Avishkar. Sita Varma, who is like she's the daughter of like a diplomat,
Yeah,
and her father Mohar Varma, he is trying to wake her up to get her to come downstairs because it's the morning time, and of course there's a bunch of delicious breakfast food that's ready for her. I guess it's a classic like I don't know, kid is late, their alarm is going off. That's what it kind of feels like. It was kind of like a
yeah,
Disney movie almost.
yeah. And meanwhile, in typical kid fashion, she's sneaking through the window as
Hmm.
he's trying to wake her. So she's trying to be like, ah, don't open the door yet,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
she's still in like her
Her,
racing gear or whatever.
yeah, which
Um,
we know is like a secret from her dad, and she's been out moonlighting as this person Spitfire, who is her racing persona,
mhm.
but also might just be her who she truly is. We get glimpses of
Or
that throughout
wants
the
to
story.
be
Yeah.
like it's not totally clear, right? It's like some idealized version of herself that she has created.
Yes.
Um, and it probably aligns with her true character in some ways, but also is, you know, there's points in the story where she's like, "Oh, I would do this, but Spitfire wouldn't say that,
Yeah.
or Spitfire wouldn't react that way."
Hmm.
Um, so she's a bit conflicted.
Yeah. She kind of has a little bit of an identity crisis.
Mhm.
Um, throughout the story, but we do know that she's extremely progressive, while her father is a little bit stuck in his ways and tradition.
Uh-huh.
And we go downstairs and we get a little bit of an info dump, mainly about the differences between like Kaladesh and Avishkar. Her father Mohar is always referring to the plane as Kaladesh, refuses to use the other name or even really say anything about it.
Acknowledge it. Yeah, like she
Yeah,
tries to correct him a couple of times and he just pauses, lets the conversation die, and then
and then.
continues and refers to
Mhm.
it as Kaladesh.
Yeah. Some of the things that had changed is that there used to be a bunch of servants around. There aren't no servants anymore, but they're just getting paid now. So,
That part confused that part confused the hell out of me because it was
yeah,
like, oh, well, I used to have to sneak past the servants to get back in, but now there are no more servants on Avishkar. And then she gets up and she's like, her dad's like, oh, have the servants fix you some breakfast or something. She's like, no, they have enough to do. I'm like,
yeah.
that just
What?
happened.
What are you
Whether
talking
they're
about?
servants or not. Like,
They're just not
and then there was
called
a joke about
servants? I
like
don't
them
know.
getting paid. So I think what I was supposed to take away from that is they're just staff now,
Yeah.
but he still calls them servants,
Servants. Yeah.
even though he pays them. But what she's saying is they aren't actually servants anymore. They're just staff.
Yeah.
They get paid to perform a
Um,
job.
mhm.
But then she later refers to them as servants. So I was very confused about that whole thing. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be like tongue in cheek or
I think it's a little tongue in cheek. But
yeah.
essentially, that's one of the big things that had happened is that they used to have this society full of unpaid work. And all of a sudden, everyone's just expected to kind of pay all these servants instead of just like not having servants anymore. And her dad, I mean, okay, he says a lot of things, but I will say that like this moment is like he did keep all the people on staff and
Yeah.
he is paying them now.
He just
He
grumbles about it, but he
he
still does
grumbles
pay
about
them.
it, but he does pay them, and especially their head chef. Man, did they have a spread? Like
Yeah.
they had a ton of food on this table. I actually went and looked up all the different foods that they were saying that was there, and oh, it looks so good.
Hope you
Um,
weren't hungry at the time.
I got hungry,
Yeah.
but it was one of those. It was again like kind of out of a Disney movie where it's like, look at all this food we're
Yeah.
gonna have, and they're quickly doing breakfast, and she has to run off to do something, but like
Right.
they don't eat
Like a
anything,
massive table full of
and then
food for
and
two
then
people.
her dad is like complaining, like, well, yeah, we used to need this much food because there's all these people that would stay with us or whatever, but now we don't, and now I have to pay this guy to make all this food that's going to waste. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, just tell him to make less. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
just
Like,
yeah. Feel like there's a pretty easy solution here.
he knows there's only two people. Like, maybe he's making food for all the staff. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Um,
he's probably like, well, this guy will pay me to make all this food, and then after they don't eat it, the staff can go eat it.
we all get to eat it.
Yeah.
It is important to know that Mohar is he used to be part of the consulate in Kaladesh. So this is like he's a diplomat, but he was like one of the dudes that got overthrown. So
Yeah.
like there is a reason behind him being grumbly about like having all these changes happen because he thought everything was great before because he was the one in charge of keeping it that way. You know,
Yes. He has strong opinions that the consulate was great.
yes. Um, and obviously, Spitfire or our Sita does
Sita.
not believe that. Um, so Mohar has the vibe of he's like complaining a lot about how the world is now. Um, I'm pretty sure he snuck in like a fuck Justin Trudeau in there at some point. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yeah.
Um, but that kind of vibe, and we get it immediately because the radio starts playing, and they're talking about the big race. And our night minister Gonti is mentioned because he's going to come and like speak about something. And her dad just takes the radio and fucking just throws it across the room and breaks it
Yeah.
because they said the word Gonti,
Yeah.
which
Because they said Night
apparently,
Minister Gonti.
oh sure, right, night minister Gonti, which he's like, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Not cool. I'm assuming that means that he kind of took the place of him, or you know, he's like in
Yeah.
control now. Gonti before was kind of like he was a powerful person, but also like the Aetherborn were like partiers. He was
Right.
he was trying to survive from the Aetherborn from original Kaladesh. We got to see them. They only live for like a certain amount of time, and then they die. So they're they have short lives, which means they usually they party a lot, and
Yeah.
their death is like a
Right.
huge
Right.
rager. And Gonti ended up having to make like a mechanical heart so he could stay alive or something.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
so
feel like the Aether Revolt story where like Gonti was like an underworld guy. He was like sort of some sort of underworld king.
he
And
was,
then
yeah,
the revolution had to team up with him in some capacity in order
yeah.
to
And the Aether Revolt, the Renegades, were led by Pia Nalar, who is Chandra's mom.
yeah.
And so so Chandra's mom, Pia, was a very huge part of all of this revolution happening. Though, to be fair, there was a revolution and revolt, and then they kind of made their own consulate, which didn't work out very well. And then the Phyrexian invasion happened, and then there's an Indigo revolution, which is the newest one, and that's the one that
Gotcha.
where Mohar got kicked out. But anyway, he is not happy with him, as we know. Sita is heading out and going to go see the Aether Rangers. But during this a little part with her father, we did get to hear that he could smell like gas fumes on her clothing.
Mhm.
And she had just said that, oh, she left the window open. And maybe that happened. He's like, "Oh, don't do that. The commoners will sneak in or
Yeah.
something."
He says a bunch of like just when you start to like feel bad for this guy or something, he
He just says
says,
like crazy shit. You're just like, "Oh, oh
"Oh
no,
yeah.
oh dad,
Oh
don't
no
do
no
that."
no no no."
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Um, And in his defense, a little bit too, I think you sort of find out here. There's references to her mom's sickness or like when she
Right.
was sick and stuff. So it does sound like he may have lost his partner to some sort of illness,
Yeah.
um, which
And
sucks. But
yeah. It does, and so he's definitely going through something and wishing for, the old times, I guess. That's also one of the
mhm.
reasons why he said that there was so much food on the table because they used to be making food for his wife. But I still thought, like, one person, that's not
Still way
enough.
too much food.
Very
Yeah.
crazy. Anyway, Sita heads out. She puts on her mask, and when she puts on her mask, she turns into Spitfire, and she's got her
Yeah.
goggles, and she's like fucking cool, man. I want to see like a really good picture of Spitfire because I feel like we don't have one yet in the stories. We haven't gotten like a good picture.
I want to see a split card, man. One of those transforming.
Oh
Uh,
shit, dude, that's exactly what we need. I don't think we're gonna get it, but
no,
Sita and
no.
Spitfire, that would be
Yeah.
good. Anyway, she is part of the Aether Rangers, which was one of the 10 teams part of the Girapur Grand Prix, which, as we said before, is a race through all the different planes that we had talked about earlier. And Pia Nalar is the head of the racing team. The Aether Rangers are the hometown Avishkar team. They say this often. However, there are other teams that could also kind of be Avishkar teams.
Avishkar.
So,
Yeah. Or is this like the Girapur team? And there are other places in Avishkar that
I mean, that is true.
also
Maybe it
fields
is.
teams?
I guess maybe it is just like Girapur's team because they're in the city. I think that makes maybe more sense than what I was thinking because there are a lot of teams just from Avishkar. So,
It seems like there's, one team per other plane, but then a bunch of teams from this one.
which makes sense. This is where the race starts and the race ends. So that would
Yeah.
that would make make sense. Anyway, so we do get to have like a nice moment between Sita and Pia, and like they kind of fight a little bit over like changing things about their vehicle, and Sita wants to make sure that she has precision control because her instincts are so perfect and so great, and Pia is like fucking with the steering and stuff, and she doesn't want it to screw with her driving.
Classic driver engineer battle.
Yeah, basically.
I'm sure.
Um, Chandra's face lights up the TV screen, and Sita is just kind of sick of it because she has like this. She kind of hates Chandra, but also wants to be Chandra,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
yeah.
she's like really jealous of her, and she's also like racing with her mom, so she can't hate her like I want her to die, but she hates her like why do you get all the cool shit? Like you got fucking fire powers and you can go anywhere you want. I think that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. Sita wants to be a planeswalker, just like Ishikari.
Yeah.
But
This
but
relationship or this feeling with Sita, I guess,
mhm,
is sort of one-sided, as we'll see later. Chandra's like, who the hell is that?
yeah,
Um, is really well written, I think, because it's
hmm
jealousy, like you said, but it's sort of like I want like what you have. You have it all. You can planeswalk, you can shoot fire, and you squander it. Like you don't do
hmm
all the cool shit that I would do if I had those powers. So it's like
exactly.
wasted on you, and I should have gotten those powers because I would
Yeah,
do so much cool stuff, and I would have been here to fight off the Phyrexians with my fire powers, and
that
you
is a big one for sure.
so
Um,
there's a lot of that like jealousy, but also like resentment, but also respect for her abilities and like
mhm.
or
And her mother too.
yeah.
Um, so there is that, and we also have a lot of moments where Sita kind of looks up to Pia as like her mother figure since her mother's gone.
Yeah.
And Pia is, obviously we're in this moment where like they are working together on their car and they're the hometown team and they look on the screen and Chandra is getting like a press conference about her racing in the Grand Prix,
Mhm.
but she's not racing with her mom.
Nope.
No, she's on a different team, which is really weird.
Mhm.
Like that's like there. Okay, there's something weird going on there. Um, and I'm sure that like Pia's not super happy with that. But anyway, we Pia is showing how she's kind of souped up the engine a little bit, but we do get to jump right over to Chandra in the TV. So there is a nice flow to this story where we kind of get to go through different stages where we're like following one character, and then it feels like a movie where the TV screen comes on, we see them start talking, and then we go into the TV and we are now with Chandra in this press conference.
It did feel a bit written like a movie script kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
which I very much enjoyed. There's a lot of really good transitions, I would say.
Hmm.
There are some that are not so good, but I like the good ones. And this is one of them. So I say it's a press conference, but it's really Chandra is just having afternoon tea alone.
Hmm.
Does Chandra usually drink tea just by herself? I don't know. This is such a out of just a weird thing to me.
She's not like a particularly contemplative character, right? Like she's
No.
not like solitude's not really her thing. So
Is
yeah,
she just like sitting with her legs crossed, like drinking tea with like a biscotti or something? Like what is
yeah.
happening? Like I don't know.
Doesn't feel very Chandra, you're right.
No, she's a little bit more like, she eats her chicken legs with like both, like, I don't know, elbows on the table. Like, she doesn't give a shit. Like, I don't know. It just seems so strange to me. It kind of brought, like, having her in this space brought her above the other characters watching her on TV, which was obviously intentional, but strange to see. So she is bombarded with paparazzi. I said it was a press conference. It's not. She just got attacked by paparazzi and the news cameras, I guess. Which a lot of time, I guess that is paparazzi. I guess I was thinking paparazzi like Hollywood, where they're just taking pictures and trying to like
Yeah, yeah,
get risque ones or whatever. Um, so they're asking her a bunch of questions about like what she wants with the race, and like we're learning stuff about who she's like racing with, which is the Cloud Spire team. That's their name, right?
yeah.
Cloud Spire racing team. They won the race last year, and of course, so we kind of get that question like, "Oh, did you choose them because they won last year instead
Yeah.
of being with your mom?" And she kind of that's not a welcome question necessarily. Um, so I
You're
think
like,
at a certain
yeah,
point,
my mom's a loser and they're winners. That's why I did it.
she did not say that at all. But at a
No.
certain point, like the tea in her cup starts to boil because she's trying to like keep a lid on it, but she's getting really angry with them. Classic
Mhm.
hothead, am I right?
Ah, totally.
Um, and they're kind of speculating like, oh, that must mean that you really want to win the grand prize, the Aether Spark.
Mhm.
So
Which is like, isn't it pretty well known that she's already a planeswalker? So
mhm.
obviously, like, we know why she wants it. But wouldn't other people be like, it's super weird that a planeswalker really wants something that lets you planeswalk?
Yeah, I think they specifically asked like, "Oh, do you want it for your partner?" Which seems like such a strange thing to say. Like, do you know
Oh,
Nissa? Do you know shit about them?
like,
I don't
yeah,
know.
how much does the paparazzi know?
But I
Um,
also want to bring up this point of like, okay, so we already know from like the log line of the set that like Chandra wants to win the race to get the Aether Spark to give it to Nissa so that they can both be planeswalkers again and planeswalk the multiverse.
yeah,
Is this Are these high stakes?
feels like no.
Not really.
Just go
Um,
through the Omen path.
yeah, I want to, come back to this a couple times because do you need to planeswalk with you are with them. They are alive and maybe sad, but like, I don't know. What the fuck? Like, we'll talk about it later, but
Zach, you
it
got to
just,
think about it. What if you had one of those passes that lets you skip the line at the airport
mhm.
and your partner did not? So you could just get on a plane and go wherever you want without having
Yeah.
too much to worry about. She couldn't.
Hmm.
Wouldn't you do absolutely anything to get her that pass?
No, I would just wait in the fucking line. That's what I would do. That's what Chandra should do. Why is this such a big deal? Fucking be on your mom's team, Chandra. What the hell? Like, come
Hey,
on.
that's I'm expecting an explanation for that in stories 4 through 6.
That's true. I would like an explanation for why the fuck you're not on your mom's team.
Maybe the
Ridiculous.
mom was like, "Listen, Spitfire's a better driver, Chandra."
That's not what happened, and you know it. All right, we'll get to all that in just a minute. Anyway, we know why she wants to win the Aether Spark, all that stuff. We jump out of the screen from that to Winter. Winter? This is a character we haven't seen since
Yeah,
Duskborn,
the character, not the season.
not the season. So Winter is watching Chandra on TV in Duskmorn? Like, so this is broadcast through the multiverse to everybody. I mean, I guess it does make sense because it's an
It's a multiverse
interplanar.
race. Yeah.
Yeah. But they have TVs that do that?
They figured it out. Yeah.
They figured it out, even to planes that they don't even know exist.
Yeah.
Love it. Um, important things about this: Winter is alive. Last time we ran into Winter, he was getting like swallowed by a demon or something.
You got stuffed into Valgavoth's like chest cavity or something. Yeah.
Really gross stuff, man.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, Valgavoth is talking again and basically says like, "You win me the Aether Spark, and then you win your freedom. But if you don't win, I get to keep you, or the house gets to keep you." That's
Yeah.
basically what it does.
Meanwhile, the very
Um,
last scene was him being like, "Oh, I did promise you freedom. Here you go." Stuffs him in his cavity. So, like,
yeah,
is this demon's promise of freedom really that
yeah. I don't Winter
reliable?
like. I get that Winter's kind of like the new Liliana, where he's like, well, this demon, I got to do shit for this demon, or I got to fight this
Yeah.
demon so I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But like, don't listen to him, man. Like, just
Yeah.
fucking, you're already out. Just, I guess like we'll get to him like not being in Duskmorn in a minute, but like, once you get out of Duskmorn, fucking just go, run. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Don't
Don't
go
go
back.
back, man. It's like, oh, I
Don't go.
lost the race. Time to go tell Valgavoth
Just don't fucking
that
go
I've
back.
lost.
Yeah. Holy shit. Anyway, that was our nice little cliffhanger into episode number 2, Pit Stop. Um, all right. This this was a welcome thing, I would like to say. That well, okay. Sorry. I like
Oh,
the beginning of
sorry.
this
Before
story.
that, I want to say one thing about.
Sorry.
I want to say one thing about chapter one. Okay,
Okay.
that I didn't totally. That I find a little. I'm a little skeptical of.
Okay.
After the Ishikari thing, it says 2 years later, and then it jumps into this story. So the Phyrexian invasion happened.
Hmm.
Within that same year, they had an interplanar race that featured 10 different racing teams in this death race that went through 3 planes. So these 3 planes cooperated to make this race. And this is the second year of it, and we have this grand prize. Isn't this like a ridiculous timeline for like having just survived a devastating invasion and an overthrow of society as you know it? But there's this death race that you planned with other planes and like coordinated with them to make the circuit and get all these people to watch because there's reference to building the platforms to watch this thing
Hmm. Yes.
last year.
Hmm.
It's 2 years later. This is the second annual death race. It's like you would be rebuilding your city, not building up
Yeah.
some stadium to watch a death race. Like,
That is true. Yes. Yeah. For whatever reason, I like was almost thinking that there's a possibility that they used to have a Gearport Grand Prix that like didn't include the other planes and they would race with their vehicles on their own plane. And then
Maybe
this
like
was
maybe the racing, and that's why there's so
like during
many.
the Inventors Fair or whatever. They used to
And maybe
like,
that's why there's so many Avishkar teams because they already had them, and the
hmm,
other planes are like, let's get a team in there, and they only
quick, quick,
were
quick,
able
quick, quick.
to get
Yeah.
one out there.
What do we call
Um,
ourselves? The Washington football team.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, exactly. We are the Amonketi.
Yeah. um, yes, but I think that there's something a little fishy about that whole thing. Or fishy, just kind of strange. It just like
It feels a little fast. They could have said
I
like
gotta say, there's no
3 years
his.
later.
I got there's well, they want to say 2 years because
I
March of the
know,
Machine was 2 years ago.
I know,
Um,
but it's still just like, well, that's just so fast. Like, did they rebuild the city, or is it still fucking destroyed? And they're like, you know what? Rebuilding the city can wait. Let's have a death race.
they did
That'll
both. Just
that'll boost our spirits.
they did both very very fast.
Yeah.
Um,
And what was the prize for the first death race? That's what I want to know as well, because we're offering quite a fucking prize for this
mhm.
one that has been here, by the way. It was just sitting there. So what was the prize last year, man?
I don't know. Also, like Chandra
What did the Cloud Spire racing team
team win.
get? Yeah.
Chandra, Cloud Spire Racing Team only won like one time. Like that doesn't mean they're great. They just
Yeah.
just be on your
They've
mom's
never
team.
they've
Go
never
on, like
lost, Zach.
they've never. I guess
They've
that's true.
won
That's
it
never lost.
every fucking time.
But this is like, hey, all right. So like, I know at the beginning of the NFL or whatever, the Jets were like good or something. But like,
Yeah.
don't join the Jets. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to the Jets, man.
man, they
I
won
feel
the
like this
first
could be a
one.
long-term thing
Yeah, they won the first one. Joe Namath, they're the best. Like, come on, get out of
for
here.
dynasty in the making.
All right. So, episode number 2, pit stop. We wake up with Chandra, and she she just fucking looks up, and Nissa's just sitting on her bed, and she's like, "Oh, hot damn, fuck yeah, my
Oh
girlfriend's here."
yeah,
And it's like, did you not know she was here? Did you not know? Was she?
yeah,
Is this a surprise? Number one, how the fuck did she get here?
yeah,
Like, okay, so you planeswalk first, practice with your team, and just say, Nissa, I'll see you when you get here.
yeah.
Wait in the line with your girlfriend. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. It just
But
seems kind
also
of like
clearly, if they are like, we want to both go to Kaladesh, they can make that happen.
yes, they can. So like, anyway, I'm never gonna get over that. But
It's like,
that
oh
like
shit, this is here. That's dope.
like like Chandra's like entire motivation just doesn't make any sense to me. But
And also, was
um,
Chandra sleeping, and then Nissa showed up and was like, "Hey, Pia, can I just sneak up there and like
yeah,
jump in bed
hi.
with your daughter?"
What? She came through the window like a commoner.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, Nissa's super excited. They like make out or whatever on their bed. And we have like the same scene from the first story where Pia is knocking on the door, being like, breakfast is ready, get downstairs, all this stuff. And they have to like, I don't know, put on their clothes because they're
But Pia
canoodling.
is like throwing shade. She's like, I think what
That's
she
true.
said was like, first you abandon your mother, now you're gonna abandon breakfast too, or something like that. Like everything she
Yeah.
says is like daggers at Chandra for picking a different team,
Yeah.
which I
But it,
liked because I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
get
But
her, Pia, get her.
but it still kind of feels a little jokey. Like I don't think that
Yeah,
Pia's
yeah,
like,
she's not mad. Well, I mean, she's probably upset,
yeah,
a little, but she's playing.
it's true. But this is also the moment where we find out that like Chandra is just staying with her mom. And so
Yep.
like you're like, hey mom, can I crash with you? Also, fuck your team. I'm gonna do this other one that's gonna win. Because I wanna like
Also,
hang out with I wanna leave here as fast as I can with my girlfriend so we can
yeah.
fucking
By the way,
I
that's
don't
my
know.
girlfriend. She's the one that came in last night. Well,
Hmm.
woke you up, let you in.
By
Let
the
her in.
way, yeah.
Uh, and
Just
also there was a scene where last one, she was like, I even left incognito with some sweaters on and stuff so that the paparazzi wouldn't
oh right.
catch me to go get her tea in solitude. And I'm just like, but you left from your mom's house?
Yeah.
Like,
They
the fuck
fucking
do you think, Chandra? Like, also, your head is on fire. Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
How did you put a sweater over your head without it burning? I don't
It's
understand.
like where it is like I wore four sweaters and a scarf, and it's like I don't know how they knew me. I came out of my mom's house with my head on fire, but I had my scarf on.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh God. Anyway, we sit down, they have a bunch of samosas, which again sounded delicious, and I
I
wanted some
know. I
of
was like, I
those.
wish I could have
Um,
samosas for breakfast. That sounds great.
but yes, we do know that Chandra and Pia are on good terms. And we get more of this kind of like parent child talk that we had with Sita and Mohar, which is a really nice parallel as we continue in the story to try to show like how similar Sita and Chandra are, which
Yeah.
I really enjoy that throughout this story. All the ones that we've
Yeah,
had
that
so
part
far.
was well done. Yeah. And there's a bit of like in-law awkwardness or like meeting the
Hmm.
girlfriend awkwardness
Yeah,
as
while
well.
she's like in
Yes.
your shirt or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like
Like
that
Pia's
scene
being
of the movie.
nice
Hmm.
to Nissa, but it's like, yeah, there's definitely that tinge of awkwardness going on in
Yeah.
this scene.
Where like, Nissa and Pia kind of like agree on something about Chandra's
To
faults
make fun of, yeah, to make fun
And
of
Chandra's like,
Chandra.
"What the fuck?" Chandra's
Yeah.
like upset about that. Anyway, um, we get to sit here for just a little bit, but then we jump over to Sita, who is late for the Girpur Grand Prix because her ride isn't here. So once again, she is now back in her room, and she's waiting because, all right, she hasn't told her dad that she races cars, vehicles. I don't really know. Rocket ship. I'm not really sure what exactly their thing is, but it's some sort of device that moves.
I picture it as basically like a hovercraft. Like I
Yeah,
don't think it's a car necessarily, but it can like go up and down between some certain range. But I don't think it's like I don't think it's
rocket
like a rocket or
plane.
flying, way in the air.
Sure, sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure,
that
sure.
that's the thing that flies a plane. Yeah,
Right, right,
but
right.
it can like go up and down, but
But
not.
doesn't really have wheels, right? Or something,
Yeah, I don't think
maybe.
it ever is on the ground necessarily. That's just what I'm picturing in my head, though.
Yeah, we don't have confirmation on that one. Don't get mad at
Yeah,
us.
don't quote me. When the picture comes out, it's
Nah.
gonna be like, well, that's not what it.
Hmm.
I was totally
That
wrong. It's not what it looks
it's
like at all.
like underground. It's like definitely on the ground.
Yeah, it's just a car,
It's
guys.
just
It's
a
just a
car.
car. It's
Um,
actually a chariot.
it's just a charger. Just
Yeah.
um,
That wouldn't even surprise me. Magic is taking all these. This is universes beyond Dodge Ram. Yeah.
yeah. What? Yeah. Are we getting Secret Layer Hot Wheels right now, or what? Like, come on.
That's why she drove a Ford, because it
Yeah,
could take anything. Built
that's right.
Ford. Tough.
Tough.
That's in the middle of the
American
story,
tough.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. Actually, because of that, I bought a Ford.
Yeah,
It's
me
crazy.
too. I bought
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
When it
Uh,
survived that goblin grenade, I was like, whoa,
oh,
no way.
holy shit. It can survive 5 damage. It must have at least 6 toughness. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry. Back on topic. All right. So she decided that she just wasn't gonna run her alibi by her dad before she had to go like leave for this multi-day race. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like I'm just gonna like lay this on him.
Hmm.
Although to be
Be-
fair, like teenagers are dumb. Like
they are dumb. Yeah, she is a teenager, and I could totally see her doing something stupid like this. Um, Yes. So the race is multi-day. The race doesn't just start and then whenever everybody gets back to the finish line, it's over. There are like multiple small races. So think about like Mario Kart when you do like Grand Prix. I guess
yeah, it's
like
exactly like Mario Kart.
yeah, where you do like many different races and then your cumulative score is how
And
like
it's
you
a
win.
race to the Omen Path, I think, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
basically.
like the Omen Path's like the finish line. Once you're in the
Yeah.
next one, you get to take a bit of a
You get
break and then
mhm.
yeah.
I just this did not. I was not prepared for this. So later, when we get to that part, I was like, "The race is over." What?
Yeah.
I got really confused.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's not super clear because they sort of mention it on the first Omen Path. They mention that
yeah,
she's like, oh, second place, bummer.
yeah. Oh, Jeff, spoilers. What are you
Yeah,
doing? Come on.
but it's then the next story just picks up in a mid race. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
did they stop? And I remember not knowing. And then for the next one, I was like, oh, I get it. Okay,
Okay, it
they
makes sense.
probably did stop that time. We just didn't see
We
it.
just didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like wasn't for whatever reason I was thinking the reason the race could finally happen with the omen paths is because they would continuously go through all of them.
Right.
And so I was not expecting them to stop in between. But is that what it always is with a Grand Prix? I don't
I think
know.
that's what a Grand Prix is, maybe.
It's like multiple races. I don't know. I
I don't
don't
know. Grand
watch
Prix just
F1,
means like big prize in
right?
French.
Oh,
So,
you're right, right, of course. No,
so.
normally with the big prize, are there multiple races involved?
But like Grand Prix is a specific thing in racing, but it just
Yeah,
the name doesn't give anything away because it
of
just means
course. I
this
just
is the
meant
big
like
one. Yeah.
to me, all I'm thinking about like I went to Grand Prix like Magic GPs, but
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah.
I but there aren't races involved, obviously. But though, if there were, I think I could do pretty well at a Grand Prix. If we had a foot race, I think I could do okay. Um, but
Yeah.
no,
I would say you're probably above average speed for a
yeah, for
Magic
all the
player.
magic players. But the F1, is it the same thing? They have like multi day races. I don't know.
I think it's just like a race where a
That's
lot
what I
of
thought.
money's on the line.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, I was surprised by that. But anyway, she has to have an alibi to tell her dad so that she is out of the house for a long time. Decides that it's like her friend who's like, she owns like a business or something. She's like a hairstylist or what does she do? Something like that.
Yeah, it was some sort of like um was it like like female tailors like making
Oh,
dresses
tailors. Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's a tailor.
like
And
making women's clothes, I think.
yeah, yeah.
And she
Which
was
is something
gonna
that Mohar would agree with and enjoys. Is like, oh yeah, women do women jobs. That's like
right.
that's Mohar in like in a nutshell.
Totally. Yeah. As soon as she
Um,
said that plan, I was like, oh, this will work.
yeah, this will definitely work. And so basically, her friend who's picking her up is saying that she is interning with them for this period of time. And her dad gets up and she's worried that he doesn't really believe her, but he walks over to her, gives her a nice big hug, and just tells her, don't forget, show them that you're a Varma or whatever, like their last name, and be like,
Yeah.
you do the best that you can. And basically has a really nice moment with her being like, go get him. Like, you're going to
Yeah.
be great.
It was a bit
And
of go get 'em with a tinge of like, don't bring shame upon our house.
And that's true. There is a little bit of that. You're right. You're right.
But it was mostly go get 'em. Like I'm
Mostly go get him.
proud of you.
I mostly felt the go get him.
Yeah.
We get to the race just in the nick of
Well,
time.
well, then there was the I just want to bring up the
Okay.
devastating line because he was like, bring home some of the clothes you make, and we'll take them to your mother's
Mm,
grave and show her. I was like, oh my God. Holy shit.
right. I forgot about that part.
Whoa.
Yes.
Talk about feeling bad about lying to your dad. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Because she will not be able to do that. She will not
Yeah.
have any clothes.
Yeah.
To be fair, she'll probably just fucking dip. You know,
Yeah.
she does not seem like she like. It'll be sad if she gets the Aether Spark and just zips away. But that we kind of get the vibe that might happen.
But I get
Um,
the feeling, based on the comparison of her personality and her father's, that her mother might have had a bit of a furry spirit, and maybe this is what she would have wanted anyways. So
that's
she
true.
can convince herself of that at least.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. All right, we get to the race just in the nick of time. Spitfire now has her mask on, so she's Spitfire. And Pia is arguing with the judges because they're saying, "Hey, your racer's not here; you can't race." But Spitfire's there just in the nick of time, so that they can, in fact, do that. And Pia does have a gift for her, actually, which is a track suit, like a special racing suit that has like a bunch of knob things or like little like holes in it or something that can fit Aether canisters, and it comes with a couple canisters. And basically, Spitfire's like, "Is this legal? Am I able to use this?" And Pia just laughs like, "Yeah, of course you could use it. Like, why would I? I'm not going to give you something illegal like you're a teenager." But it does feel a little weird. It's like,
It sounded like an awful lot like super steroids,
yeah,
but just for a like short time.
just a short time. So it's like nitrous, kind of.
Mm.
Like that's what it
Steroids for
seems
your
like.
brain.
Yeah. Um, what does it do? They're like the Aether canisters. Apparently you like stick it in a knob or something, and it lets you like go like super speed, kind of.
It basically like my understanding of it was that it accelerates your mind so much that your reflexes are essentially like your reflexes are crazy because you see everything almost before it happens.
Hmm.
And it doesn't last very long. But
It's like
again,
two,
because 2 seconds, I think they said, but
yeah,
because you're so far ahead of everything, it feels like it lasts a long time.
like 2 hours. So they said something like that. I definitely don't think it feels like that, but I think
Yeah.
that's essentially the idea.
It felt a bit sketchy, like 2 seconds. Like if something is happening to me where I need advanced reflexes for 2 seconds in order to get out of it, am I going to have the reaction time to turn this thing on? Or is it like that's too, you know what I mean? Like a big boulder's coming at me. If I have the reflexes to turn this on, couldn't I have just dodged the boulder without that? Like I'm going to do the thing where I turn it on and then super
Yeah,
reflex out of the way. Um,
yeah. I don't know, like it
Feels a
because
bit
my
tight, two
understanding,
seconds.
yeah, my understanding is that there are like canisters on the front, and you like stick it in and twist it, and then it does the thing.
Yeah.
But what really makes more sense is that they're there, and you just like hit a button, and then
But even then, right? Like,
yeah,
you gotta react to that, and then
that's
I don't
true.
know. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
If it gave you 5 seconds of super reflexes, I'd buy it.
All right, great. Okay, let's call the writer.
Yeah.
Can
Just
you
don't think
quick
two is
change
enough.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, anyway, Pia says that she hopes that the racing suit fits because she wasn't able to adjust it. And they have an unspoken moment, and they kind of look back
Hmm.
and forth, and
I liked
they
this. Yeah.
both realize they both know that they're saying this to each other, which is Pia made this suit for Chandra, and
Right.
Chandra is shorter than Spitfire is, and so it might not fit as well. Might be a little snug, but Spitfire takes it nonetheless and wears it and is really appreciative of the gift. But we do get a quick little moment of Pia was hoping that Chandra would be on her team. Um,
Right. Because, yeah, she just says, I hope it fits. I had to
yeah.
adjust it. And it's like,
But the writing here was brilliant because we didn't have to explain it, and everybody knew what was going on. Like
yeah.
that good, yes. There you go. That was perfect. So good. That's exactly what we want with these like little moments where you don't tell us exactly what's happening, but we know what's happening. But don't do it when I'm trying to just figure out who's racing on the thing. It's so
Yeah.
confusing.
No,
Um,
this one was perfect. And it,
mhm.
again, reinforces that like Sita Chandra kind of mirror
Yeah,
and the whole like Pia is, Sita's maternal sort of
hmm, exactly.
influence.
Yeah. So the racers are on the starting line, and Chandra hears some noise, and it sounds like some whimpering, and she's trying to figure out where the whimpering's coming from. And then she quickly decides that it's some sort of slave.
Yeah.
I what before like
She's sure of
really
it though.
she's like, who's got a slave?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking fuck him up. Who's got a slave? And
Which I guess this could be like her upbringing in Kaladesh where like that was a normal thing.
that's true. But is
Like
she
it's
gonna
just
go? Yeah, but if she's used to having servants or slaves around, is she gonna go beat up the person that has the slave? Like, wouldn't she just be kind of used to people having servants and stuff, so you just wouldn't go beat the shit out of that
well,
person?
well, I think maybe so. Her family probably didn't.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
They were renegades. They were part of like an encampment, and then like I think her dad got murdered by Kumbal.
yes, that's right.
She thought that her parents
Haven't we
Both,
all? Anyone who's played Brawl got murdered
yeah,
by a
yeah.
Kumbal.
So her dad was killed by Kumbal. She thought her mom was killed by Kumbal. Her spark ignited. She left and went to a plane. I don't remember. But when she came back, she had her cathartic reunion with her mom, which is a card.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
realizing she's alive.
so I was thinking, she grew up around it, but never liked it, people abusing
Hmm.
their servants. And now that she's in power, or like has power, she's like, fuck that. I'm not allowing
That's
that.
true. I guess, yeah, that does make sense. I guess I was surprised that she immediately knew it was a slave, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, you don't know that." Like, because she's just going around looking at everyone's like the Vidalkins. Nah, they wouldn't have slaves. The Amonkhet. Nah, nah, they're not about them slaves. They were enslaved. They don't like that. And she just goes around and she's like looking at all these people. The quick beasts. No, they're just beasts. Like what?
I love that. The Egyptians? No, they wouldn't have slaves. Next.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, they were enslaved. They're not going to do that. It's like, I don't know about that one. Yeah, yeah, for sure. They were all like devoted to the pharaoh. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Anyway, look at this painting of them whipping people. Yeah, definitely not
Yeah, yeah.
slaves. It's
Yeah.
just a motivation tool. I like my managers to do that too.
Yeah, it really
Um,
keeps me motivated.
in line. How else do you think you're going to pick up a giant rock? You
Yeah,
got to have
it's
somebody
true.
whipping you on the back.
It's true. You need that adrenaline rush from the
Yeah,
whip.
from like the near death experience. Um, anyway, she walks over and we find out that, oh, of course, it's the fucking scary skull, specter skeleton, speed demon people that have the slave.
Yeah, makes sense.
No shit. Chandra, why don't you just go there first?
Yeah,
They're
come on.
huge. They're on fire.
Yeah.
They're, of course they have it. And it's a small little critter with big eyes and pointy ears inside a tiny little cage that it's like forced to stand upright because it's so small. And well, we know who this is,
Yeah,
right?
it's Jace's baby.
Jace's little baby boy,
Yeah.
Loot. And well, of course, this is the Speed Demon team, and they are headed by Winter from Duskborn, and they have Loot. We knew that they had captured Loot at the end of the Duskborn story,
Yeah.
and they're using him for something. We don't really know why he's in the cage, but they've decided that he needs to be part of the vehicle, so he is there. And really not happy about it either. Chandra basically says that she wants to free him or whatever, and Winter's like, "Go away, like,
Yeah, leave me alone.
just fucking, I'm doing my shit. Like, just go over there." But of course, Chandra doesn't have enough time to actually like confront him on this thing because the race is starting, so she has to go get in her vehicle or her motorcycle. Sorry, she's got a motorcycle because she's fucking cool and has fire hair.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff, would you like to start us off with this next chunk where we go to our friend, the Mason? Because I know you want to talk about this.
Okay, so we cut to Siraj, who works for his father's company, who basically they last year they got contracted out to build a bunch of like the stands or basically the rafters where people would watch this death race from. Which, by the way, sounds like well, you just put random towers along. Like as a spectator, which one do you
Hmm.
choose? Uh, but anyways, they build out this huge infrastructure and they loved it so much that they made their prices dirt cheap so they could
Hmm.
get hired again to do it this year. And Siraj's job was to build the perfect spot to watch all of this from. That's the thing that he had to do. And I love that he built a little like VIP enclave for himself at the very top of this thing, by the
Hmm.
way. Um, but his dad and his brothers give him a hard time, but he got this job somehow to build this most important thing at the start of the race. Uh, and the whole time, he's obviously just so happy that he did this and that it was his legacy and he could finally step out from under the shadow. Like as soon as you start hearing this, like this one is well written because as soon as you like
Hmm.
you're like half a paragraph in, you're like, well, this shit's gonna fucking fall down. Like
Like
this
something
thing's
bad's
gonna
gonna happen.
collapse. Yeah, and then it just gets more and more obvious as you go through the however many paragraphs or paragraph this is, because it's like, oh, and then I'm so appreciative that Gonti let me use the cheaper metal to
Hmm.
build this instead of like the expensive metal we used last year. And you're like, yeah, okay, so this thing's fucking coming down.
This is
And,
bad.
yeah. And so the race, Gonti announces the race. The race begins, and the people like, yeah, like throw their arms up and come back down. And that was too much for the structure that
Hmm.
Siraj had built. So this thing just comes toppling, and Siraj is just like thinking as he's coming down in his VIP section of this tower, like, well, that might be my last job that I got to run on my own.
It's like,
Just
oh,
like,
that was my. I'm never working again. As he's
yeah,
falling with it, he's in
like
the
you
tower.
might
Like,
die first
yeah.
of all, let
But
alone
no, no,
to
work
build
much more
another
important.
tower. Yeah,
I thought this was hilarious. It was a really good
yeah,
way to also just start the race as a spectator too.
yeah.
Um, we just kind of have this moment that we're like
Well,
farther
not for the
away.
spectators that were
Oh, of
on
course, of
on that
course. No, no,
tower. That was
no,
a
no,
horrible
no.
way to start the race.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but the racers are going through, and there's like pieces of the tower falling all around them, and it's like chaos, and everything's crazy. But this actually part of the story, as you're explaining this, reminds me of a friend of mine had made a movie in high school.
Mm.
It was called Grit Magnum. It was like a gritty cop film, but we're in high school, so like it wasn't that gritty.
Yeah.
But there is a part where Grit Magnum is going into like the evil layer of all the people and stuff. And he's like killing these bodyguards or something. And I had given a note on the script earlier, just being like, I think you should just like add something right here. Like, we just need a little bit more about like how he's getting in or something. Um, and basically, the note was taken as there needs to be more dialogue for this one guard. And basically, my friend just wrote an entire monologue of this guard talking about how he's so excited because like this is his last day and he's gonna retire now and he can go be with his wife and his family and he gets to do all this stuff. And then Grit Magnum comes up and cracks his neck and then goes through. And like that was the joke. This feels very much like that, and it's just
Yeah.
like we just need a little bit more about some other people that are part of the race or different things and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
okay, Arsenal's like, okay, I could do that for
I
you.
got you.
But so funny, no notes. I love this part. It was great.
I don't understand the character who's like, I want to get out from under the shadow of my
Hmm.
dad and his brothers and build myself a thing, but I'm gonna cheap the fuck out on this project they gave me.
Yeah,
Like, I am gonna save so many pennies.
yeah.
All
It's
right.
just,
You sound like you're just in the wrong line of work,
yeah,
and
yeah,
your family was right not to trust you with stuff. But cool.
yeah.
I guess they
Exactly.
gave you the most important thing, so
Yeah.
that all tracks.
Definitely tracks. Um, anyway, we are in the race and we are blasting ahead. Spitfire's trying to find a way through all this debris that's falling all everywhere. And Chandra, as Spitfire's up kind of ahead, she can kind of see that in a rear view mirror, I guess, that Chandra's in the back behind the speed demons, basically trying to free the little critter.
Yeah, she's
Um,
like, why is she back there? Yeah,
Yeah, wow, she's so far behind. I can't believe that. Why would she be immediately in the back? Also, Chandra, calm the fuck down. You don't know who this is. You don't know anything about this orange Digimon.
yeah.
Just like,
I
if the
think what really
stakes are.
happened
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
that she didn't push A right on the third beep.
Oh, sure.
You know how
Oh, no,
sometimes you
no, no.
miss it and you don't get that launch
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, real quick, real
suddenly and
quick.
last?
When do you think you're supposed to push the button
The fourth beep.
on the fourth beep? Wait, wait, wait,
Do,
wait, wait.
do,
Duh.
do, do.
And you push it on the fourth? I
Yeah.
always push it on the and of two.
Hmm.
So it's like ba ba hit, and then you hold it, and then you go.
Does that work?
Yeah,
I always try to like land it right on the fourth one, and sometimes or sometimes it doesn't.
No, I have to hit it on the and of two right before all of it, and then you get to the little
Oh
jump on it.
man,
Yeah,
I'm learning so much. Anyways, she
that's
did what I did, and she
mhm.
timed it for the fourth one, just whiffed, and everyone fucking blasted off, and she's just in 10th.
In 10th, just immediately. Anyway, Spitfire is like getting through the tower, and all the quick beasts are around here. Real quick, quick beasts. We didn't talk all about the different actual teams that are part of the race, but there are a couple teams that don't have vehicles, and the quick beasts are one of them. They're just a bunch of beasts that run, and people are on them.
Yeah,
Pretty self-explanatory, but we'll bring those
sounds
up
like
when.
the Gruul team.
Yeah. Essentially kind of like a Gruul-ish team, though the pictures make them look a little bit more like they're from Bant or something.
Hmm.
But the Amonkhet team, the champions of Amonkhet, they also just use like undead horses. That's so fucking slow. Like, come on. And this, she's got fucking nitrous. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And then there's also a team that's like it's a bunch of bugs. They're the Speed Brood. They basically are just like a bunch of insects, and then at some point they've been racing for years because at some point their body, as they're decomposing or dying, they get turned into the vehicle, and so you become the speed. You used to be the driver of the speed, and then you are the speed. Really weird, but
Hmm.
those are the like. I guess technically they turn into a vehicle, so they're not actually like a beast or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's a living machine, I guess. Uh, but kind of strange. Um, let's see. We are heading through all the debris. Spitfire has to go up and like get onto like kind of the railing of something, and there's shit shooting all over the place. I know that goblins just are immediately, as soon as they can, they just shoot themselves out of cannons towards people to
Yeah.
try to cut their wheels and stuff. Because there's the goblin rocketeers that are just like trying to, I don't know, slice people up.
Yeah.
Um,
Love it.
and we get to a moment where somehow the speed demons get ahead of Spitfire, and there is a claw coming through trying to slice her open. And she decides that this is her time to fucking use her nitrous or whatever, her
Yeah.
aether.
Hmm.
And, well, Jeff, what does she do? But
She
the
does a
most
she does a barrel roll.
she
Of
does. She
course.
does a she
Yeah.
does a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Uh, very important that there were thrusters that were put on that vehicle, and it was her idea to put those thrusters on there. It wasn't Slippy's or Falco's, okay?
Yeah.
She did it herself. She knew she wanted to do a barrel roll. She didn't need anybody else telling her. Um, so she gets past them, shoots through the Omen path, and then all of a sudden she's just like in second place.
I don't remember, like, do you remember who gets first place here?
The
It
speed
was
demons
the
do.
Speed Demons, right? So I was like envisioning this as like they sent out that hand to distract her,
Hmm.
and then she barrel rolls or whatever, but someone else was kind of sneaky just going into first
Go.
place.
No,
Um,
she had like gotten past them, and because she has precision, right?
mhm.
She's the most precise, best driver, I guess. Even though she didn't, I don't know. We know that our protagonist has like some sort of magic car powers. Is always a thing.
Yeah.
Um, but she
She's the
like
best at crewing vehicles.
yeah, she uses her thing, and she's able to dodge and do the barrel roll away from the claw, and then she's in first place. Except for she's not in first place. All of a sudden, the speed demons are in front of her somehow, even though we know that they were behind her. So we don't. We are perplexed, but she also is perplexed and
But it sounds like
notices.
teams can have like multiple cars, right?
That's true. I don't think this team does specifically, but it there does seem to be multiple at least Goblin Rocketeer cars because they
Yeah.
crash into lots of stuff.
Right. And
Um,
it seems like each team is like a team of drivers, which I guess is similar to a race, like in F1 or whatever.
yeah,
Like Ferrari has more than one driver. or
That's
miss,
true. I
whatever.
think in this specific instance, though, it seems like something weird is happening
But
because
Chandra has teammates too that are like, "Hey,
that's true.
Chandra, we're doing that," and they're like coming in to help
Oh,
her,
you're
and
right. You're right.
so
Um, and
I think
Spitfire's just
like
like,
it seems like Spitfire just doesn't have teammates because like
yeah.
I don't need teammates, you know.
Well,
But
maybe that's
every other one else is a team, and so that's why I was thinking like they tricked her. They sent something
oh,
after
sure, sure,
her,
sure, sure,
but
sure.
really they had the sneaky like
Gotcha.
Winters like driving the
See,
little mini car on the
oh,
side that he
sure.
zooms into first.
The clowns from a vicious clown from Duskmourn's over there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I still think that there's some spooky stuff going on.
yeah. That I
Um,
think that's what they were implying. And this
yeah.
was just like my brain was like, oh, they just had someone over there. Like,
Oh,
while they sent
logical
this
brain comes in,
fake claw at you, you fool. Your
and I'm
barrel
like
roll was not as winning a tactic as you thought. They anticipated it.
immediately, I'm thinking, no, it's just obviously magic because I'm
Yeah,
reading a story about magic.
just
Uh,
house magic, of course.
yeah, yeah. Um, anyway, we basically finished that portion of the race. We don't really know where everybody else is, but they are taking a quick break for that time. And we jump back to Sita's father, Mohar Varma. And he's watching the barrel roll on TV, and he can't get away from it. It's on
Yeah,
every channel. Everyone is obsessed with this barrel roll. They think it's the fucking coolest shit they've ever seen. And they're like, Spitfire's awesome, dude. Yeah, I want to
yeah,
be like
go
Spitfire.
Spitfire.
Yeah, people are fucking doing like their shots and just like chugging beers.
I wish my
It's
daughter was that cool.
yeah. And Mohar's like, fuck that fucking Spitfire. I can't believe this shit. That's an illegal move. You can't race like that. Like stuff like that, where it's just like, that's not tradition.
Yeah,
Tradition is you stay on the road. You can't hover above it. You know, crazy shit like that. I think earlier he had mentioned something about how like if something was invented and you have something that works, why would you continue to try to make it better? It works
yeah,
fine right now. Just leave it be. And Sita's like, well, if that thing is hurting somebody, we should probably stop doing that and do something that doesn't hurt somebody. And he's like, bah, ridiculous.
yeah.
So anyway, he's just a man yelling at a TV. He's drinking Bud Lights, you know. He's
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
sorry, he doesn't drink Bud Lights anymore
Oh
because they're
no, sorry, he
right,
used
right, right.
to, but
He used to
that was in
drink.
his consulate days.
Yes, but he doesn't drink Bud Lights anymore because there were certain influencers talking about that beer and he doesn't like them.
Yeah,
Uh,
Gonti was seen with one.
oh yes, of course, yeah. Had like a whole campaign about it.
Yeah,
Anyway, he hears some rustling and immediately believes it's assassins coming to kill him.
of
Thank
course.
God his daughter isn't at home. Ugh,
Yeah,
because he's such an important consulate person. He runs over to grab his Aether pistol. I'm assuming, I was thinking it's off the wall, but that doesn't really make
yeah.
sense. It's probably like actually in a drawer or something.
Who knows where people keep their guns these
Yeah,
days?
I don't know. Not in a safe.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, he he's ready for his intruders, and in walks a green-skinned, serpentine, tendril-haired figure and a
Oh my
person in a
God,
blue cloak.
who could that be?
Interesting. Wait, a green person with Elphaba.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Elphaba. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and blue cloak is I don't know who that is actually. Hmm.
I got nothing
Weird.
for that one. Probably someone
Yeah.
from like Final Fantasy or something.
Oh yeah, totally, totally, totally. I don't know,
Yeah,
Cloud or something.
yeah.
Titus. Those are
That
the
sounds like
characters I know.
Cloud. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. No, no, of course, we're being ridiculous. These are characters we know and love. Vraska and Jace are, of course, here, as they always are. And the writers love to just not say who they are. We know who
Hmm.
they are, but
Yeah.
like they love to do that. Just because Vraska is so easily identifiable that like, or like Blue Cloak, we always know it's always him. Like
Yeah.
there's a person in a cloak in this guy's mind in a story.
So some
Oh,
mysterious blue mind mage is
interesting.
here.
Jace was in there. Okay, for sure. That's right, Prof. Yeah, we knew it was Jace the whole time. Anyway, they're coming. He thinks to kidnap him, but it turns out that they actually want some of his help. And Jace is saying that he wants to reinstate the consulate and make Kaladesh great again, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And this is yeah, this is exactly what's happening. If you help us with some of these strings we have to do, we really want to bring Kaladesh back to its final glory or a former glory. Sorry,
hmm
and everything will be peaches, which yeah, obviously very iffy about all of this. And Jace is like he's on his villain arc. We already knew this through like the last story, or last couple stories.
Yeah.
Um, but this is the first one that felt like, oh, he's okay for sure. He's getting there. We're getting to it yet. We haven't been there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I do get the like, hey, you steal my baby, all bets are off, man. I'll do
Mm,
anything.
that's
Um, Although he
true.
kind of just like left his baby at the house. That was the thing last time. So
Yeah. Well, he like lost his baby.
yeah, and it didn't seem like he tried that hard to not let the house have his baby. So
Yeah.
maybe
I
it's
mean,
not
like,
baby motivated.
yeah, I don't know if it is. Um, but it does seem like hey, he is constantly like separated from Vraska and Loot because he's a planeswalker and he planeswalks places while they have to walk. Maybe this
Yeah.
is what Chandra's worried about. She's like, well, whenever
Ooh.
we have our own little loot or boot or whatever, a moot,
Scoot.
um, yeah, Loot, Scoot, and Boogie, he will be with Nissa, and then I'm going to planeswalk somewhere. They're going to get eaten up by a haunted house, and I'm going to have to go find them. Might as
Yeah.
well just give
Pretty
her,
legit concerns.
yeah, I guess, give her
Mm.
her spark back. Makes sense. Um, all right, Jeff, we're on to our last episode number 3, which is called Go. Um, like you said before, Jeff, we immediately start in the middle of the race on Amonkhet, which is
Yeah.
the
And I,
confusing.
and I think the extra confusing part is like they don't say that she came second in the first leg. They say, "Oh, second, damn it."
Mhm.
And then they're watching stuff on TV, so it's sort of implied. But then they jump halfway through this race in Amonkhet, and something very similar gets said very early on, where she's like, "Oh, sixth. This is so unacceptable." But at that point, it's just
You,
because
g-
she's currently in sixth or
oh,
whatever.
right, you're right,
She
you're
doesn't
right, you're right.
actually finish, and so I was like, oh, maybe previously she was upset about just being in second in the race at the moment, and that
Hmm.
wasn't actually an implication that she finished second in some sort of leg. And then I was like, it sounded like she was second in some sort of leg. And then now it's like, oh, sixth, unacceptable. I was like, oh, maybe she's just like journaling her position in the race for us, and we're supposed to
Yeah,
keep track of it. And then later I find out, no, it was right the first time. When you get to the Omen path, that's like a break.
yeah.
I feel like they could have added a very short thing here to just be like,
I needed something, honestly.
yeah,
But Jeff, you gotta quit spoiling where she is in the race. Come on, nobody knows that, and you just said it.
she's in
That's all right.
sixth.
Oh, not right now though. She's in that.
Oh,
She's in,
sorry, we're with Duretti at the moment.
right. So Duretti is fighting because he's really pissed off. There's a lot of talk at the beginning about how, man, vehicles are the best. If you have a living thing trying to run through this stuff, there's no way you're getting through. Like you're so slow, it sucks. Well, you get to Amonkhet and there's fucking sand everywhere, and it's
Yeah,
getting all up in Duretti's engines, and he's like, none of my things are working. What's happening? He's like, what? The undead horses from Amonkhet don't have a problem. I was like, well,
Yeah. So weird that the Amonkhet team seems to have no
Is it
issue with sand.
with sand? Interesting. And the quick beasts are still quick. We talk about the quick beasts a lot, but yeah, I don't really feel like I know much about them. But whatever.
They don't
Um,
feature in the story so
it
far
just makes
too
sense that
heavily.
they're quick and they're
Yeah.
beasts. Um,
They were just like beasts couldn't compete in a race, but quick
quick
beasts,
beasts. Hmm. I'm
maybe.
assuming I'm assuming quick beasts are probably the like Simic color
Ugh.
pair,
God.
which is just like how quick can they be, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not very quick. They're just probably ramping and sitting, drawing
Yeah.
cards, doing
Yeah.
nothing. Um, anyway, so uh, Duretti is really frustrated with all the sand, and then he looks over and sees the End Riders. Now, the End Riders are just like kind of this chaotic team, probably the Rakdos team. I'm assuming they feel kind of like Rakdos on Ravnica.
They
Um,
feel Rakdosian.
yeah, well, this is why, because he looks over and he sees like a chainsaw. He's like, "Whoa, they got a chainsaw. That's kind of crazy." He's like, "Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. There's like multiple chainsaws. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a lot of stuff. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now they're juggling the chainsaws. That's this. What else could happen?
Yeah.
The chainsaws are on fire. Okay,
Of
so
course.
now
Yeah.
they're juggling multiple chainsaws that are on fire. Duretti's like, what the fuck is happening over there? And all of his like goblins are like trying to catch the chainsaws that are on
Yeah.
fire.
He's like, just no.
Fucking just don't. And of course, they're getting sliced in half because they're all
And
stupid
burns.
goblins. Yeah. So again, like when we were talking about, there are multiple like drivers or whatever for each team. The
Yeah.
Goblin Rocketeers definitely have the most drivers because
Yeah.
they are so expendable. They just get sliced in half and burned and stuff all the
Yeah.
time.
They're the token strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, token strategy for sure. Um,
I like that scene actually. It's just like
yeah.
they're because the Rakdos people are all standing on the hoods of their vehicles. They're like,
Hmm.
what's gonna happen next? They start juggling chainsaws. Like, how is this helping them in the race?
Yeah.
The chainsaws light on fire, then they start checking them at the goblins, and the
People.
goblins like, ooh,
Yeah.
chainsaw. Just get smoked.
It's just like so stupid, but like so good.
Those are definitely the two last place teams. Right?
Absolutely.
Like
The red teams.
the guys
The
juggling
teams.
chainsaws for no reason.
The color that is known best for being fastest because they
Yeah.
have haste. Nope. Slowest and stupidest teams.
No, it's gonna be red fucking blue that wins. We all know that.
Uh that's yeah, probably. Um Anyway, so the speed demons are up ahead, but there's like a big collision between them and like the Goblin Rocketeers. I was kind of confused if there was actually a collision or not. There's like a picture of a big explosion, but
Yeah.
the speed demons seem to not have a problem with dealing with well anything. They kind of just like get in kerfuffles and just kind of get through it anyway. Um, but as Spitfire is speeding past this whole thing, and it seems like she's leaving the End Riders, the Goblin Rocketeers, and the Speed Demons in the dust. She like does a swerve and has enough time to look back at Chandra and give her like a little like glare, I guess. Which
Yeah.
okay, why are you doing this, Spitfire? Don't.
Yeah.
And
But she does.
she does. What a dumb teenager. We jump back to Chandra, who notices the glare, but also says, like, I think it was a glare. Her goggles kind of ruined.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah. She's like, what a weird wacko.
Yeah.
Why is my mom hanging out with this her? Like,
Yeah.
she is so bizarre. Uh, and then as she's talking about that, her teammates tell her to focus on the race. And Chandra's like,
Yeah.
well,
Fuck
what are these
that.
guys? What are these guys? These guys are all business. It's like,
Yeah.
Chandra, you're like all business with this fucking race.
She does
You
say that.
you have no heart at all in this race. All you care, like obviously you're trying to like free this stupid Digimon loot thing, but like you're not on your mom's team. I don't know. Like, if you were not all business, you would be on your mom's team. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Like, just it's crazy. She's just hanging out with a bunch of like I don't know Voldalkins or something. Who like I think they're the Cloud Riders, right?
Yeah. At
It's
some
just
point, she says something like Nissa would understand that, it's more important to the implication. It's
win.
more important to save this creature than to win
Yeah,
or
but
whatever.
like
But it's just like,
it's also like Nissa, you were talking about how important the stakes were earlier about you winning to make sure that you're with
yeah,
the Nissa
the
and
stakes
whatever.
are so high.
It's like, no, they're not, Nissa. They're not. And you're obviously showing us that they're not that high. You like
Yeah.
see a thing you've never seen before and decide to try to free it. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll keep coming back to this. This could also be my disdain for loot because, like, fuck loot, whatever. Um, I'm excited for that to just be done.
Be
I
over.
mean, it'll get replaced with like Spider-Man, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, all right. So, sorry, I was just reading my notes about Chandra's state. Just literally what I just said. It's a kid who she just doesn't give a fuck. Like it doesn't matter. Anyway, so these flying insects on Amonkhet that are like attacking all of them. And they're specifically attacking the Amonkhet chariot. And there's an older member that jumps in front of Zahur, who's like Zahur is like the champion driver of the whole team. And this old dude just jumps in front to not die from an insect, I guess. Like what? Like
Uh,
how big are
I
these bees? I don't know.
yeah.
Like are
I
they
don't.
like I was just gonna say, are they like I was assuming like they're big bees. Are they kind of like the ones from Donkey Kong Country, where they're
Oh, those
like
are some big ones.
the
Yeah.
big, scary, giant stinger bees? Like maybe.
It's like jump on them. You're good.
I mean, well, this one he didn't have time to jump, I guess, because we needed someone to sacrifice themselves. This fucking dude dies. He straight
Yeah.
up dies because this
That kind
insect
of took me
stung
by
him.
surprise a little bit, but yeah, he just dies.
Yeah, I guess he's old. I don't know, but he gave up his life for Zahur. Um, all right, that must be like an Amonkhet thing. That's a lot. And this is the moment where Spitfire is upset that she's in sixth place, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, I'm never gonna get the Aether Spark if I'm back here. Like this is ridiculous. I gotta get there." Um, and Jeff, one of the reasons why she doesn't like she wants to get the Aether Spark is because she doesn't want to go to dinner parties anymore with her dad.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be like the former aristocracy, I
Hmm.
guess. She just wants to explore, travel. She
It's
feels
true.
that need to leave home, which I get,
Yeah,
especially as a teenager. I definitely
that's true. Okay,
understand
sure.
that.
Girl, there are omen paths. You
Yeah,
can just go.
just go, man.
You have a car. Like, just go. I mean, like, sure, okay. Your neighbor's Amonkhet. Like, do you really want to go to Amonkhet
Yeah.
University? Like, what are you going to learn to embalm somebody? Like, come on. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Like,
I mean,
like
they do it pretty quickly, apparently. So
that's true. They do have like probably a pretty robust like religion studies program.
yeah, that's what you're
Hmm.
into.
Or and like I don't know. They know a lot about sand probably too. So
You
some
study
sort of
some false
geology.
gods implanted by Nicol Bolas, if you want.
Hmm. That's true. Um, but yeah, besides that, I guess. mm, Okay, that yeah, maybe being a planeswalker sounds better than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Um, so instead of going to going to Amonkhet University to study the gods, she decides to boost up not only on the side of the railing of this, but she just jumps up and grinds on one of the golden god statues to get in front of everybody, which that's not cool. Like this Amonkhet dude just fucking died from a giant bee, and you're just grinding up on their statues. Come on,
Yeah. No
like
respect.
No respect at all. Can't get any respect. Ridiculous. Um,
And it
all
was
right, so the,
Hazaret, I believe,
well,
because
was it Hazaret?
it talks about launching off the spear. So
Oh,
I was
sure, off
like,
the spear, and that's the one that
I
has
think
the
this
spear.
is like Hazaret with the
Mm,
exact picture from the art.
that
But
makes sense. Um, so now, I think that Chandra is like just attacking the speed demons with like fireballs and stuff. Um, I know she does it like a big one in a little bit, but Spitfire is like right behind the speed demons trying to get in front, and Chandra's trying to get loot out of the cage.
yeah,
And but also making sure like the speed demons are still doing, I don't know, they use claws a lot. They're trying to like slash at Spitfire, and she is not using her nitrous stuff, so she is a little vulnerable. So she's appreciative of Chandra showing like throwing these fireballs at them, but she's also getting burned up a bit,
singed.
a
Yeah,
little bit. So there's a little bit of friendly fire, wink, wink, happening here. But she mutters under her breath like a thank you for saving her from the claws,
yeah,
even though her hands are burning up. Um,
yeah. But that is also a bit like, man, if I could shoot fireballs, I would do
God,
so much more than you.
yeah, man, I want to eat that flower thing from Mario and start shooting fireballs everywhere. Um,
Yeah, and I don't totally get what the speed demons are. It's like winter, and they talk about ghouls, but then there's all these like big demon claws and stuff. Like, is
yeah,
that
they're
Volgavoth somehow?
no, they're I think they're
Yeah.
like glitch ghosts and stuff.
Right. And that, oh yeah, that bugged me because I think we were in Spitfire's perspective,
Hmm.
and it's like, and then these glitch ghosts start attacking, and I'm like, what the fuck do you know about a glitch ghost?
Hey,
Like,
you don't know what glitch ghosts are, though.
yeah.
As a reader, I very much appreciated that because I'm
I
like,
know,
I
but I was
I know what a
like,
glitch ghost is.
yeah, you should have. I guess it
Yeah,
was just like it's easier to do it this way and not
it's easy to do
try
it
to
this way.
find somebody who would know what a glitch ghost is.
Jeff, literally my
And then
specific,
Kaito jumped out, and Kaito
yeah,
was like, "Oh, those are glitch ghosts." And then
yeah,
Kaito,
and it vanished again.
yeah,
Because he's a planeswalker, he could do that whenever he wants. Um,
that was the easy solution. Come on.
I will always, I think, join the side of like, if we can just use the word of the thing, just use it. I don't care if they really know or not. Like,
I'm with you, like
just let
now that you
me.
mention it, but at the time I was like, "Oh, it's really weird that
Hey,
Spitfire is using the term glitch ghosts." But I'm
yeah,
like, "Yeah, there's not really an easier way to do it, though.
hey, there isn't.
Not without wasting a bunch of time for no
Yeah,
reason."
exactly. So we don't want to waste time. Um, so Chandra's kind of confused how Spitfire keeps getting so far ahead because she's like, "What? How? How are
Maybe
you
she's
good?"
maybe she's driving the race instead of like throwing fireballs at
That's
random cages.
that's true. That's very true. Um, and she's yelling at Winter to be like, hey, stop attacking that teenager. Pick on someone your own size or your own age, I guess."
Yeah.
And Winter's just like, well, if they're old enough to race, they're old enough to die. It's like, all right, Sebulba or whatever. Like, come on. All right,
Isn't
chill
this
out.
the like army argument?
Yeah, right? Like, what?
Old enough to vote, old enough to die.
Yeah. I should also be old enough to drink. All right. So the demons are now coming after her. They burst into like blue azure flame, and their claws are reaching out over to is this Chandra at this point? I think so.
Yeah.
And they're kind of swiping at her, but she ducks out of the way, and they end up hitting the wheel of the Amonkhet chariot. So the dude who just died, so that their head
He
dude,
just gave his life
he
to
gave his
save.
life to save the driver,
They pretty much immediately get knocked out of the race after that.
just like fall into the ditch. We need like the I don't know what's his name, the cloud dude with the fishing pole
Yeah,
to come pull him
yeah.
out. Um, I don't know what his name is, but that's basically what happens to them almost immediately because the racetrack is over like a bunch of zombies or something. Like, There's
That's
like
super clear.
sand and there's
Yeah.
like zombies. I'm pretty sure that's basically all Amonkhet is anyway. There's just a bunch of
I
sand and
feel like they
zombies.
they did a ritual for him after he died while they were racing too, and like
I think they
began the
had to, yeah.
embalming process.
Oh,
It seemed
almost
like,
immediately. They're
yeah,
just
just
like,
chucked him in some vat.
somebody's dead. Wait, that guy's got brains inside him? Let's get those brains out of there.
Get him
Let's
up
pull
there.
him out of his nose. Just
Like, oh
immediately.
shit, there's a race. Oh, it's a ditch. Fuck.
Fuck. Oh, shit. Fuck. After that, Chandra immediately shoots a fireball and it hits the back of the Speed Demon's car thing where the cage is. They spin out and hit a dune. And when she's driving by, she can hear like, a, "Ouch, that hurt me" or something from
It
Loot.
sounds like a Furby on fire.
Yeah, and so she hears that and she's like, "Oh my God, am I as bad as they are? I hurt the thing too in the cage." And it's like,
Nope.
no, you're
No, you
not.
are not.
No, you're not. Um, you're trying to save it, but also like maybe be more tactical with how you save this thing,
Right.
like
You're just a hothead, but no,
as
you're not as
usual.
bad as the slavers
Slavers, yeah,
who are
you're not a
accidentally
slaver.
hurting the slave while trying to save it. No.
Come on, like
That's
no,
pretty. There's not a moral dilemma worthy
just
of an ethics class here.
yeah. Chandra, you're not. But it's also like that's such a Chandra thing to think. Like,
Yeah,
oh God, like you're complaining about the teenager, but I'm complaining about you. So like,
yeah,
you know,
that's right.
it's just a whole circle. Um, the
Why is
quick
the
beasts,
teenager complaining about you? That's what would make it a
yeah.
circle.
Yes. Sita is upset with me talking about
The
her.
reader just has no
Yeah.
fucking idea.
What? What? They don't even know what's going on. They got so many things wrong. What do?
Yeah,
Anyway, the quick beasts are in the lead. Somehow, what the fuck? These guys are
yeah. I
always.
know.
What is going on?
What I'm looking forward to in further chapters is just arbitrarily finding different teams that haven't had the spotlight shone on them yet are now
Hmm.
suddenly in the lead because we need
Because
all
we have
10
to
teams to be featured. So
at some point. Well, we're gonna get a feature very soon. So they are in the lead. Spitfire and Chandra are right behind them, and they're fighting to try to get to the front. However, Spitfire knows that she can outmaneuver Chandra and is for sure going to get at least second, which is like, sure, I guess you're really good. I don't know.
seems
It's
like a
just
pretty good driver.
she does, but like only because she tells me, not even because like she did do a barrel roll. Okay, she did a barrel
Yeah.
roll. Sure,
And it was a highlight of,
that's true. That's
the
true. The
race.
entire race, and everybody loves Spitfire.
She must have a really high power because she crews vehicles well.
That's yes. Or at least has a pilot keyword, which lets her
More likely,
crew,
she's like a 2-1 that when she crews vehicles, something good happens. But
or like a 2-1 that can crew vehicles that, as if their
as
power
though
was like
she had,
six
yeah,
or
four
something.
power
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, yeah. That's
that's
definitely
probably
what
what
it
it.
is.
Yeah, it's for sure. That's what it is. Yeah, we already have pilot as like a creature type. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Um, we are racing towards the Omen Path for Muraganda. However, a sandstorm forms. And
Mm.
this is dark and scary and big. And we can see a bunch of people on Amonkhet, like that are just like live close to the racetrack, like hiding. So,
Yeah.
this is not really good. Um, and Chandra's like, "Hey, I thought there wasn't any weather today." And
Is that
her
Chandra or Spitfire?
was it Spitfire that said that? Oh, to Pia?
I thought Spitfire radios Pia. She's like, hold on, I don't normally do this, but for this I have to. Radios Pia. Like, hey, I thought weather was clear. And Pia's like, nope. She's like, okay.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It was
Good
definitely
thing
her.
you took the time to radio it. Like,
Yeah, good thing, good thing. Luckily, it seems like the sandstorm is kind of behind them because we don't really have to worry about it too much. But it does absolutely destroy the guide light Voyagers, which is a team of all robots. Imagine like
Yeah, they just drive right into this.
yeah, yeah. Imagine like a bunch of BB-8s basically. It's like
Yeah,
R2D2 and BB-8, or like the if you watch Fallout, that guy Fred Armisen is the voice of this robot that tries to cut you up and stuff. It's basically a bunch of robots like that that are big balls with arms and things.
yeah,
Um,
they're like buzz saws coming out of their chest or some
yeah,
shit.
that's
Yeah,
essentially what they are.
looks like it's
Um,
remote controlled by some
but
18 year
yeah,
old.
yeah, it's from RC Racers.
Yeah,
They have a really sweet '90s commercial for like the toy. Um, but anyway,
basically a
they
Roomba.
yeah, a bunch of Roombas. The Guidelight Voyagers get absolutely blasted apart and thrown onto the side.
And this is their entire
This is
like
the first time we've
this
heard
is
about them.
yeah, I've never heard about them. This is their
Yeah,
entire role of the story is
yeah.
like I want to make this weather event seem devastating, but I don't want to take out anyone important. So like the
Mhm.
robots just the Roombas all drive right into the storm, which if they're anything like my robot vacuum, I totally believe that. Like they suck. They don't know what they're doing. They
Oh,
go
they
right
do
in.
suck though. That's nice.
The one I have is not no. It's a little old now, so maybe the technology's come a long way, but
It doesn't.
it
It
just like
doesn't.
bounces off a few things, gets confused, tries to go home, can't do that, and shuts down. I'm just like this is like and it's so loud. So it's like
Oh,
I can't do it while I need to be there because otherwise it will not clean anything. But I can't be there while it's there because it's so fucking loud. So it's just like you're just useless. But
oh man. Anyway, they get obliterated by the storm,
yeah,
and we cut to Vin, the commentator, who's interviewing Kari Zev for some reason.
I
Um,
can't tell is she in the race or not because it
I
seems
don't.
later like she's in
I
the
don't think
race,
so.
but
It
here
kind
it
of
seems like
seems.
she's not. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if she's a part of a team or anything, but Kari Zev definitely is like spitting fighting words for some reason. Like, calm the fuck down. All
Yeah.
right, pirate
It
captain.
said something about how she's like one of the best racers, but didn't get selected for some team or something. So
It's
maybe
like
she's bitter. I don't know.
maybe she was supposed to be on the Cloudspire team, but they bumped her for Chandra. But she's not mad at Chandra though. She's mad at Spitfire for some reason. She's
Yeah.
like, they're like, oh, Spitfire is so great. She's such a good racer. And Kari Zev's like, I'll race her anytime, any day,
Anywhere. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool.
What do you challenge her to? And she's like, anything she wants.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. All right, Karizev, I've never heard from you before, but I've had enough. You can
Yeah.
calm down.
Feel like
Um,
this is foreshadowing for something that's going to come later, maybe. Otherwise, I don't
Probably, but
understand why this scene is here.
it's happening at all.
Yeah.
We cut over to a bar in Avishkar. Well, back, yeah, right, because we're in Muruganda right now. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, oh, sorry, before we do that, Muruganda is a plane that is like, people are really small. So, like, things are really big. Like,
Yeah.
mushrooms and
Trees,
strawberries and
flowers.
leaves and
Yeah.
stuff. It's kind of like it's a Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. But like very nature pl driven place, right? Like,
Yeah,
like a jungle and
it's beautiful.
yeah.
And everyone who, when they drive through, they kind of look up. Oh my God, holy shit! Where the fuck are? This is amazing.
That's a big tree.
Yeah, we get to hang out here. I got to hang out here. That's
Yeah.
cool. So they're pretty stoked on that. All right. We jump over to Avishkar. We're in a bar. Mohar is telling his buddy Harshad that he's like, dude, all right, I found this guy, right?
This Jace guy's cool, man.
All right, right. I don't know his name, but he wears a blue cloak, and his bitch is sick. She's so
Yeah.
cool. She got fucking snakes for hair, man. Awesome. So anyway, he said he's gonna like bring Kaladesh's glory back. It's
Yeah.
almost like make Kaladesh great again. It's gonna be sick. Like,
And I like it doesn't seem like there's anything in it for them, but I just totally 100% trust that they're doing it for the right reasons.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, No, he wants the best for us, man. Like he's
Yeah.
on our side, dude. Like
Yeah.
totally this guy's fucking legit. Don't worry. He said he can make people believe what he thinks. It's crazy. Like he can change people's minds. He can do whatever he wants. He's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy's fucking sick. That was basically the conversation that they had. And we jump over to he's getting more people on his side. Essentially, he's building
Yeah.
I don't know, a revolution, I guess.
Yeah.
We jump over to Jace and Vraska, and they're just like cuddling and talking about stuff, and they're probably half naked at this point
Mhm.
because their kid is out of town. Am I right?
Woohoo.
But
You know how
anyway,
that goes.
so Jace is starting to sound more and more villainous as each day
Oh
passes.
yeah, he's
Essentially,
like pure evil here, basically.
yeah, he's saying the kinds of things of like, Chandra's like, or not Chandra, Vraska's like, are we okay with like doing this kind of thing? Like there might be some innocent people that get hurt. It's like none of it matters in 2 weeks. Like nothing
Yeah, he's
matters.
like, don't worry about it. Just trust me.
Don't worry about it. Just trust me. Don't worry about it. Like nothing's gonna matter at that point. Kind of in like it doesn't matter how many lives we lose in this, as long as the job gets done, nothing
Yeah.
else matters.
Mhm.
And Vraska's like,
You're
what?
not the man I married.
This is weird. You're not the man that I went to his mom's house and she healed me from phyresis. Like what's happening? Jace is straight villain now. I think this moment is just like he's gone. Is this just
Yeah.
Tezzeret now? He just turns into Tezzeret essentially, kind of.
Mhm.
I know we're getting Tezzeret later. We saw he's in the space thing. So we'll see. That's like his mortal enemy, but I don't know. I like the villain arc of Jace, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something new with him at this point. So
it's also
where do
just
you
like
go? Yeah.
we were kind of tired of him being like on our side. Might as well,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
if
Get
he's
over
got to
there.
come back, let's make him evil. Why
Let's
not?
make him bad. I mean, we've kind of known he's been evil since like, well, I guess since he got turned
Yeah, the
into
Phyresis.
Phyrexian.
Yeah.
But really in OTJ, it was like, oh, is he just bad?
Yeah, is he just
Um,
not like the best dude? Kind of seems that way.
He's not. But to be fair, was he ever the best dude? Not really. He sure doesn't remember shit, so
Yeah.
it's a very classic Jace thing. I just want him to go evil and then they erase his mind again and then he goes good.
Yeah, just like every few years, they just erase. He swaps. He flip-flops.
He always starts good and then goes bad, basically. And then one time he'll start bad and go good. Crazy.
You get years of content out of this.
So much. So many
Especially when
years.
it's only one magic themed set per year.
Exactly, yeah.
Really
And
drag that
5
story
universes
out.
beyond. Oh,
Yeah.
man. It's going to take decades.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back to Muraganda. And this is like the break in between races. And it's also going to be the break in our story, in our episode, as we come to a close here.
Yeah.
Spitfire walks over to Pia, who is talking to the Amonkhet team, the champions of Amonkhet. And this is where they're resurrecting that old team member that died from the giant bee.
Yeah.
And it's a really personal ritual. And he's back to life, but now he's like a mummy now. Which we had kind of said that they were already working on as he was falling off the edge of the thing into the zombies. But Spitfire does have a moment that's kind of mirrored with Chandra's moment. It's probably why we have it. Kind of thinking like outside of herself, being, oh, if he died so that he could save the driver of his team, if they don't win the race, did he die for nothing? Like, what did he die for? If I win and get the things that I want from this race, which is the Aether Spark, other people will not win, and they've sacrificed a lot more than I have. What does that mean? Like, what does that make me bad? She doesn't
Hmm.
specifically say that, but that's what Chandra was saying earlier. So I
Yeah,
think it's kind of mirrored here as well.
that's where she leaves it, right? It's like
Yeah,
food for thought, but
food
also
for thought.
they signed up for this. It's a race. Just try to win.
It's a death race.
Yeah.
Try to win. And that is the end of our story for today. Um, that is the end of chapter 3. All right, Jeff. That only took a couple hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
We sped through it.
Sure did. Yeah, we're racing to the finish line.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
do you have any final thoughts on chapters 1, 2, and 3 before we go to last call?
It's okay. There was some reasonable setup here, I think. We could they set themselves up to potentially finish strong here, so I'm
Hmm.
excited about the next few, but I feel like there's also the possibility to just like focus on the wrong things coming out and not accelerate out of the turn here
Hmm.
as it were. So we'll see which way it goes, but it was okay. I thought that was okay.
Yeah. I liked it enough. I enjoy the magic stories which feel almost a little bit less like magic. So all the moments where we're getting mirror conversations between the parents and their children and things like that were more meaningful to me. Where I was like, I like that there was thought put into this to have some sort of like um, some sort of arc that isn't just explaining the magic story, even though that's really what I want.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying this one a lot, and I think that there's there's a lot of stuff going on. The things I like the least about it are the racing parts, which is of course kind of like the majority of it. But it
Yeah.
is like all action, and action things have proven to be kind of confusing in magic stories in the past
Yeah.
and currently.
Especially with like 10 different racing teams and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, it is a bit like Mario Kart, I guess, where it does, oh,
Yeah.
suddenly this person's in first. Now this person's in first. Which is kind of that chaotic race that they are going for.
Hmm.
I felt this one was just high variance. There's some stuff I
Yes.
really liked, that really great writing, great scenes. Then there's other stuff where it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
Like, I
It's
didn't
true.
care for the like Chandra Nissa in bed scene too much. It felt like I don't understand what you're talking about. You didn't
Hmm.
know she was here. Now you're happy she's there. And now like the stakes are so high because you need to get her to Zendikar. But I don't
Oh,
understand. You can't
right.
get there anyways.
we
And I
we
was just like
forgot
the
we
whole like
forgot to.
scene was like I don't understand this scene, and it's
It's
also
true.
like it feels forced a little bit, and I don't know.
It does.
And then there's other stuff like the random like Suraj loving his project, and like everyone she just writes it in a way they just write it in a way that you know this thing's gonna fucking topple like as soon as the
Hmm.
race starts, and then it does. Like that part was really well done, and then other parts were like this seems feels forced, and I'm confused about like
Yeah.
different parts of it,
Some of
and
the
I don't
loot
know. We
stuff. Yeah.
there's a huge variance in this one.
Mhm. We did. I specifically forgot to say that the reason that they wanted the Aether Spark was specifically to go to Zendikar because they didn't know how to get Nissa there through the Omen paths. But I still think they could figure it out. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's when you can zip around to any plane, you know how easy it is to figure out. Like you just like zip there and then take an omen
Ask.
path, find who's the neighbor, and then
Yeah.
like you just work forwards and
Just
backwards
write
till you
them.
get
Just
there.
make a map. Like
Yeah,
there's a bunch of Omen paths. You could figure it
planeswalkers
out.
should be mapping it out. You know,
They
those are the
should.
people who should be mapping out the omen path.
Yeah. Instead of like, why are other people being able to do what I get to do? This is what makes me special. You don't get
Yeah,
to do this. Um, everyone, all the planeswalkers are fucking butthurt now. Like
yeah, planeswalkers suck.
planeswalkers suck. Um, but yeah, I know what you mean. There is some gratuitous like just I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, but like I mean I'm totally fine with Nissa and Chandra making out or whatever, but like it's not super necessary to the story. Um,
Yeah, there's just some
I guess
like
the Jace Vraska one was also kind of mirrored in a similar way where they're like laying each other's laps, and it's
yeah.
like, sure,
Like, I
I
get it.
guess.
It's probably what they would be doing, I guess, as partners
Yeah.
in bed or
How
whatever.
often do you lay in your wife's lap?
Oh, never.
Sorry, opposite. How often does she lay in your lap, I guess?
Oh, never.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Uh,
like
but yeah,
also
it's I don't know. The scene just felt like a little strange, and it's also like the whole angst of like Chandra. I think the point it was trying to get across was like Chandra kind of wants this, but Nissa doesn't actually really
I
want
mean
it.
that's exactly what it is that like Chandra thinks that this is going to be something that brings them together and this is like I don't need to go back to Zendikar.
Yeah,
And so it just seems like Chandra's completely misled and get a clue, girl, get a clue.
yeah.
But hey, Chandra, I've been there. Like, I understand. I know what you're feeling, where you think, like, oh man, I need this thing. This is gonna, like, my goal is to do this thing with my partner, but I'm doing the exact opposite of being close to them to do
Mhm.
that. I get it. I understand. I've been there. But just talk to them. I
Maybe
don't know.
don't join a death race
Fucking
and just hang out with your
listen.
partner.
Yeah, hang out with your partner and your mom. Fucking hang out with your mom, man.
Yeah. If you're gonna join the death race, at least be on your mom's team. Come on.
Like, holy shit. Like, you and Spitfire could be best friends. Crazy.
Yeah, you could be like the 1-2 drivers competing for that number one, you know?
Yeah. And then you both win, but nobody really like give the Aether Spark to someone who's never tried it before. Come on. Anyway, I'm excited to
Anywho,
see what the Aether Spark actually does in game as far as cards go. So we'll see how that happens. Spoilers will be out in a couple weeks. Next week we'll be back with the rest of the episodes for this story, as we won't have new cards until right after that. Um,
nice.
but anyway, Jeff, let's go to last call. Let's talk about this Cole Schlager that we got from Clifford.
Yeah.
Whoo!
Czech lager.
What did I say?
Polschlager.
Fuck. That's so dumb. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to
That's
say
cool though.
I meant to say the words on the can. Oops. Yeah, yeah. We'll
Um,
we'll we'll do this Czech lager. This Czech lager.
yeah.
Kolschlager is just redundant. Those
Yeah.
not redundant. Sorry. Those are two competing things.
Two different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe should quickly go over the rating scale.
Oh, we should. As always, we rate our beers on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this does not mean that we are upset with you. We don't. Sorry.
I'm really mad at you if
God,
you're
I'm
you're
so mad at
sub
you
gold.
if you're sub gold. I fucking hate you. No, 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 no. This is just a fun way to rate beers. Everyone's in different tiers at different times, so don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers are trash. They're horrible. You spit them out, you pour them on the ground, and you hate them.
Silver beers are just bad and or boring.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't really drink this again.
Platinum beers are good and you would drink it again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot, and you show them to your friends.
And Mythic, these are the best of the best. These are the spitfires of driving.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
precision drivers. Right, right,
yeah,
right, right.
just everything's top notch.
All right. So, what did you think about this Cole Schlager, Jeff?
I was surprised that they managed to make a Kolschlager. I know, Czech lager. I liked it. I thought it was tasty. I'm curious to hear what you think of it. Um, but I could just say, for me, this is gold.
Interesting.
Uh, and I liked it, but I happen to know there are some loggers from this company that I would buy over this,
Oh, for this. Okay.
and so like realistically, I would get it again. But I did like it.
Yeah. I like this a lot actually. It was really tasty and it like was really nice, very smooth. Exactly like the easy drinking beer that I was looking for this. So originally when we were talking about this, like oftentimes when we talk about lagers and things like that, they're like we kind of put on Like we've kind of put them on a silver scale as far as like
Yeah.
originally when we were talking about silver beers, we were talking about camping beers, which were beers you could drink all day. I could
Mhm.
fucking drink this baby all day. This was
Yeah.
great. I like that a lot. But I'm probably gonna say platinum, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember ever having something from Clifford, and I really liked this more than like my backup beers, which I'm drinking, which is always good. You got to beat the backup beers,
Yeah, that's the
um,
key.
but this was delicious. I liked this a lot. I'm excited for the rest of the Clifford stuff. So, um,
Yeah, I think in like flavor wise or whatever, I would go platinum as well, but just
mhm.
knowing that, yes,
Something
we'll
else
see.
is
There's other
like
stuff that Clifford makes
okay,
that's in this like plays a similar function in the beer
gotcha,
world that think I'd probably buy ahead of this.
gotcha.
So
All right,
I
okay.
guess
Well, that
technically
makes
it's
me.
gold.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm excited to see what the rest of the stuff is, but dang, maybe I like Czech lagers. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. It has some flavor, but that
mhm.
drinkability as well. It was a good
Oh,
balance.
honestly, we've talked about this through our whole beer excursion through Ontario slash everything that we've tried. Um, but yeah, you kind of come around and you're like, you know what, lagers are really good.
Everyone comes full circle, right? You start at loggers, you
Hmm.
explore everything else, and then you come back to the good loggers. And
To the
like,
good lagers. Yeah,
now
yeah.
I know which ones are good, and
Hmm. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Jeff, let's go to closing time. Wrap this puppy up. You can always reach us at Arena Regulars on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
you may also find us on Arena under the username Arena Regulars Podcast, especially true lately.
That's right. You might be playing against me in draft because I've been drafting on Arena Regulars. Also, if you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at Zulberg. That's Zulberg on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also Regular Zach on Blue Sky and Twitch. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is on our Discord channel. The link for that is in the show notes below. If you want to sign in and tell us what you thought of the story, we'd love to hear it. Or share any deck lists, share play experiences. We love that too. So come on by.
That's right. Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. Go to our YouTube channel. Do all the things on all the places. Everything helps out a lot. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that in a death race, you literally never know who's in first place. Never.
Good night. All right, that's fine.